shit. I should have back on again. I said, the Great Army of Alexander. But yeah, at the ceremonies when he was welcomed somewhere, the ceremonies at the Persian court, or at his great marriage to Roxolana, and other great events and everything, the music would have been amazing, beautiful, amazingly beautiful, you know. And that's the thing people don't realize about the ancient world. It was a world of music before music was suppressed by the church, you see. Yeah, no, this is really beautiful stuff. I've listened to some of it, but yeah. People, the ancient past is here already. It's catching up on us. What we're finding out is telling us that we really got to deal with what's coming. It does no longer matter about bandies. That sound you heard was, I like to invoke the massed army of the people of Europe, you know, like they are the French, that want the people to run the world, not the politicians, because they're the only hope, especially the young kids. Especially they're the young kids. You really got to, and they're hard to reach because they're so media conditioned that they don't want to read anything long and talk too much. Oh, you'd be mean. Oh, poor little you. Just wait till how the world is going to be mean on you when you're 20, 35. 34, yeah, kid, 20, 30, 35. Well, yeah, looks like a great city. It wasn't what I was looking for. I'll close that thing. I got to sign this off and go back to eating my brownie, which I still haven't gotten to. But I keep on having to stitch all these together. I like doing this. This is my life now. Yeah, I guess it is. It's a great way to live. Speaking my mind. Speaking my mind like a true free American, the great free North. That was the great High West. The High West, we call it. The Great High West. Sure, because it's all high. Alberta, BC is the Great High West. And folks, this is where the water is but they're going to come. Right now, it's only rich people buying it up. Oh, yeah, well, there's things in Babel, towers of Babel. They can, that these can be torn down quite easily. Yeah, we have a law. Okay, we just see them how like the Russians did put the people who were living on the street inside the factories and the houses of the rich and apartments. That's what was done by the revolution. It's not a bad idea considering the number of people on the street and the number of offshore landlords who obtained it illegally. Why are they being sold on the market, those houses, instead of people being put in them? Why? Well, the law requires that it's just as fair for a rich man to sleep under the bridge as a poor man, but the law does not require a rich man to sleep under the bridge as it does a poor man. Yes, thank you for the Crown lesson in all things, but I'm glad it worked here. The Crown be used for good things. If it's a good situation, it really needs dealing with. This is what it did. But, you know, I'm all for a system that's more open and where, I guess you could say friendlier, and everybody's friendly about being open. I'm all for having a town hall here, you know, in Boston Bar. Not my place to do it. Not my town to do it yet, if I'm is that town to do it. But I think a greater democracy within each community, like the town halls in Elizabeth May comes from in Maine, those traditions. You know, I see the American Green Party, how it works down there. Yeah, everybody talks, so that's how they have a voice down there. It's a hard voice down there. Yeah, she'd be interested to talk to you just about it, but she's already a parliamentarian. She's like has to play the system. She won't talk about that. It'd be too dangerous for her to talk to. This guy's party leader. John won't either. Now he's going to marry John Kidder, Margaret Kidder's youngest son, only brother, not son, brother. Yeah, I knew John's not the Green Party, but as a founder of the Green Party, you know, I've got a right to say things about not them, but I want to say without me having to be a member of the party or speak for the party. I'm just going to say who I am now is someone else than you. I'll go say that. There's no condemnation. I am not something you can handle. I get that totally. That's fine with me. But somebody has to fucking say something, so I decided to start fucking saying things. And somebody has to speak out. Like I've listened to bloggers before. Oh, hula, I love the hula. But that's a show. Well, that's probably a really good show. I should look at that later. Like I wrote a lot. I wish I could do it. Oh, 1 week ago. I got to watch. That was last weekend. I should watch that right now. That's crazy. Oh, I'm not going to do one of these. God help me. I don't want to do these. Oh, there's Steve acting that in French. I should watch that. Tell me some French. You see, I do stuff like that. Okay, I'm going to watch in French, and I should watch Spanish. And there's some really great in the other two movies, like Mores Perros. I like to watch in Spanish. My Spanish is pretty good now. Oh, yeah, that's the thing about YouTube. It's quite seductive. Look at this, but this I'm going to watch. Might as well leave it on. Uh-oh. What am I going to watch now? It's going to make me talk for sure. So, last weekend, Act 13. It was Act 13. They retreated the CRS. So look at they got injured, the fuckers. Too bad on you bitches. Holy shit. Yeah, the revolution is on, folks. This is the yellow vest. No, these are the Free French wearing yellow vest. Do you know what the Free French are, any of you kids? I mean, people under 50, you know who the Free French are? This is their children and their grandchildren. That song is the sound of the revolution of 1789. It's always sung at a time of great change. It's going to come here if the media doesn't keep stopping it. Even you think that this is a bad movement. This is the bad movement. This is a whole nation, a rainbow nation of many colors and peoples, singing their national anthem for freedom for everybody, fraternity, brotherhood, equality. They want social justice. Oh yeah, they want world peace too. But they're wearing their emergency vest because it's a world emergency. That's why the yellow vest. They are not racist or anti-Semites. God, no. Oh, no. This is the real revolution, kids. This, you wanted revolution? Start fucking dancing. These people dance, and they charge into these assholes in the RoboCop uniforms, tear gas, rubber bullets, flashballs, 60 grams of TMT. I guess we should design them. Fucking Macron. Oh, fuck. Yeah, and tear gas on old ladies and beatings and the old guys and young people made for life. They don't care, okay? There's more wounded in France right now than during the Algerian War of 1957 when the Algerians also fought for their own freedom from France. And they want freedom for every individual community in France. This is a very great revolution that the media here are hiding from you. Yeah, I wish I'd done this on Facebook and YouTube, but it's good I got good video quality. This is plugged in right now. This is the real meal deal, okay? This happened last. This is a big turn. These guys are afraid. They're trying. This is going to get 9 minutes long. We'll see more. They get pushed back instead of the headline. I want to see this. The crowd is too big. This is not a protest movement. This is the real meal deal, kiddies. Okay, this is the fucking revolution. And the revolution is not being televised. You hear me? You hear me? This is it, man. And they're hiding this from you. You know what they want? You better find out, because it's a great thing they want. Community government for everyone. An end to the politicians brokering things from banks. An end to the media who tell you things and sell you things. The world is ending. You have to get together and unite. They want us to dance and sing. They get attacked with all that shit. A flag of the great Che Guevara. And Paris has always been home with 14 revolutions. And they generally win, including, well, not against the Nazis, but the Free French were a major thorn in the side of the Nazis. Some of the people dying were the children of them. Another horrible story from boxing. The people are dying for their own freedom against, the shit that's being pulled in the world on all of us here. All of us south of the line, and the mad world burned mad south of the line. It's scary living next to the U.S., even though I still want to be a free American rather than under the Dominion, which is even more brutal than people are told by that Prime Minister of ours that I won't go. He's worse than Macron. Really, he is. It brings tears to my eyes how people here are just thinking like, Mike, tone it down. Mike, tone it down. You talk too loud. Oh, you're mean when you talk and insult people. I'm not insulting people. I'm telling them the brutal truth, including about themselves, about being dummies of the system. They don't mean to be. The system raised them to be that way. But the young kids in Europe, the young kids, the 16-year-olds are going on strike for the climate change. Look at them backing up. I laugh all the time watching this now. Last few weekends, these are just poor Joes making like 400 euros more a month. They're given a uniform here, a tiny bit of training. They're not the Mounties, and they're not the U.S. Marines, or they're not the bullies that shut down Occupy and all those guys, everybody, they're not military regulars. And they're not the Foreign Legion who have been promised foreign leadership. My buddy was in them. And I don't know, I think the Legionnaires, I think they're on the side of the people of France. Everybody fucking hates Macron. Macron, Demisien, Mr. Macron resigns, their favorite chant of theirs. They're singing La Marseillaise, they're dancing and singing. These assholes here are clubbing old ladies, okay? That's what's going on in France. Yeah, what's the media telling you? Even the leftist media like The Garden? Leftists? There's still big money behind the leftists. Okay, they want to free the world from the banks. They want the troops home from the Middle East. They're tired of the terrorism. They want everybody to be free and equal in all communities and have an equal voice. Everybody gets to vote on fucking everything. 1% can launch a referendum of the whole population of any village to force a referendum on a vote. It's a great revolution. It's a really great revolution. It's that's the charter of the 1789 revolution. What does that ever go off the rails? But I love the Toussaint Louverture. It's also the charter sort of to do with the charter of the free, the Republic or province of Northwest, which Louis Riel wanted. Its voice was heard in India. We are the last Raj, do you know that? The last Rhodesia, except we're a giant one, where the cities in the south sell out the natives and still treat their countries like they don't even exist, worth putting on the map, or submit to us, or else. We'll send in the Mounties. And who are the Mounties? Well, let's get into all that another day. They're a lot worse than these guys, I'll tell you. These are amateurs. This is not the French. There is no French regular army because they use foreigners like my friend, who was from here, all nations, want a new life for whatever reason, marriage, heartbreak, whatever, or they're just have criminal records. You know, trains are one of the toughest training in the world, and worked 5 years wherever, in the infirmary in Djibouti fighting, you know, wherever. Djibouti's a training camp, you know, but it's tough training. He came back. Private story. But look at this. You know, this is the real revolution, folks. So when those yellow vests reach Ottawa, say those yellow vest convoys, Canadians, people of the so-called Dominion of Canada, those guys in the convoy, they're being hyped by the oil companies. Who do you think is paying for all that gas and making money for those idiots? They're not idiots. They just think only they matter. Well, in France, everybody matters except the ultra-rich. Look at them back up. Ah, it's so funny. All the way down to Champs-Élysées as they get towards they've been trying to get to the Élysée Palace and take it. That's where Macron presides from. He's been hiding out at Versailles, that royalist. Oh, I gotta say, the flag of the Bourbons that flies over Quebec is a symbol of the Seigneurie of New France. Made a deal, and the gouverneur, okay, we'll let you keep on running New France, keep the church, keeping them from knowing about the revolution. It's still that way, and that's the major source for the military, who speak French in other parts of the country, including up in Wet'suwet'en country, probably. They look like Anglos on the bridge of those Mounties, but what do we do with 1,000 Mounties? To arrest 14 people. What was that, a show of force over the pipeline? Well, I love it. I love it. Rachel Notley threatening to cut off the field of BC meant cutting off Washington State and 15 million people between it and Oregon. And the whole U.S. military complex in the Pacific Northwest, which was where Governor Inslee said, well, I thought your reserves would back you up, BC. Who do you think had those reserves? Oh, yeah, the people who were have the price tripled because Rachel Notley is stupid as the national interest of Canada does not supersede the national security interest of the United States. Woohoo! Yeah, I love it. I love to see the Stars and Streams coming up to Canada. Please not on a tank, just on a victory parade all the way to Alaska. I'm happy former British Columbia saying, what a great idea. I hope that takes hold, but I don't think it will. People are just blind for the media. This is what the Canadian and American media, Australian, this is what they're not showing you. This is a real deal. I love this. Yeah, a lot of the French independent media has broken the internet by just not obeying. Well, YouTube's letting all this go. So YouTube's they're all corporate. This is Google, right? But yeah, I'm going to put this out on all possible means. So please do not believe that the yellow vest thing is a bad thing. They are the free French. They want a free world. Don't you understand? That's the thing. Their line was that. That's on the side. It's Putin driving. Putin's not causing this. Putin is terrified too. Putin is for the cause of this. Putin, I saw him being interviewed about this. Oh no, it wouldn't happen here. Oh no, I've been a professional liar like him in many ways. He's a spy. I understand it totally. Oh, don't I ever. Anyway, so I was fidgeting. I knew he was fucking nervous, trying to make up silly excuses. He was squirming out. He didn't want to tell the truth. He's terrified, and he's also got to meet the Glarv. What's the other tape from the room with his rich girl? So anyways, boys, the world's not ending, and it's all funny. This is funny watching the bullies of globalism on the run, but they're just guys with $500. They were bought, but some of them were, whoa, like, comment, share. I'm going to send you guys a link on that. That's fucking hot. I love that. Woo! Ha ha! See, that's the thing. Laugh at the world. How good things are happening. Don't panic. It's like it says on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Do not panic, okay? It doesn't help. Oh, hound dog, he's an old man. He's making money off his Patreon. Whatever you do, never mind. I watch better things. Put it that way. I should unsubscribe. I've been too busy to think about it, including, do much more with this and upload it. I've got 20 other things to do. The machine overwhelms me. I don't have careers help me do it, right? Oh, it'd be nice if I did. Maybe I will. I don't know. I feel like I need to do it all, but I would delegate. But I know I'm talking to people today. Good things are happening for the house and for the property and for me. I know I got the MLA on my side, and she's probably really interested in things I have to say, as is the mayor. Lillywhite. He gave me a real long thing doing. And maybe some more audios. Hey, Peter, when he's mayor on election day time, I'm talking when he got elected. Yeah, Lillywhite's an interesting town. I have lots of interesting ideas here too now. Simple things that make the community better, because my parents were community people, but not in the same way I am, because I did want to be an architect. And planet comes into that, but not planet, buildings, no, buildings. Why do we make heritage only out of the rich, houses of the rich and of the banks? And like Lillowitz, Miyazaki House with the government agents house, so Casper Fair's son Artie had it till it came, I know he was a government agent when Dr. Miyazaki had it. I think Artie was already retired. Still around Lillowit though, major historical figure. The Indians, the Slatlam, the Lillowitz Indians, there's that word again, because it's part of the culture, right? It's just part of the language, right? That's how I see it. It's part of the way we talk, right? They'll say it too, right? You don't like Indians? Oh, no. I like Indians a lot. I love them. I like a lot more. The white people are like, geez, man, I love them more. But you say the wrong things like anywhere in Thailand. What do you mean? Like this. But people are defensive about who they are. Same with Canadians, right? The Canadiens, which are the French, I mean. And also, not the Cajun, but I mean the Quebecois, and Ontarians. The Anglo-Franco culture of Central Canada is just not part of the West. I know because my grandfather was the director of Scandinavian immigration. You see, I know this, and unfortunately, I left a box of music which included a lot of his manuscripts with it. Well, I won't talk about what happened, but yeah, somebody at a garage scale, and it just got taken for $10 somewhere in North Vancouver. They might have found Grandpa's maps, and they're valuable historical knowledge. I don't care anymore. I just know that he was right now. It'd be nice to prove it for the government that he was. That gives us anything, you know. We don't get a pension for it. A widow doesn't get seen to for him having. She did get an army pension for him having founded. But the government's request founded the Royal Canadian Viking Regiment, so that was my grandpa. About him, I could say much more, but he was part of a different time. And yeah, he settled here instead of the U.S., which he'd come back to first. He came back to here rather than settle back in the U.S. after I think what he saw in the Philippines. Hound Dog. Why have I still that on? Why am I even looking at the guy? I should put a photo up for that, for fuck's sake. Well, he's all right, I guess. He's got an alternative view, and we are changed, but they're all sucked in by their own media world, the American world, like media. We are changed. He's a good kid, you know, brave. He went to the French Revolution. Even was the first guy that started a bomb. That was amazing footage. That is just stunning footage. We'll stop that and save that thing. I'm going to learn it. See, the Mercedes, I'm going to go there for sure. I got to be able to sing that really well. The greatest song, you know the song with Marianne with the bare breasts? Yeah, Liberated Woman. Liberated woman who didn't care, they led the battle, But it was banners, you know, and they were the women that led into the battle against the army of King Louis XVI. And then, well, it says the army of the assembly, I guess, and then the terror of the directorate, the revolution. It's like France during the days of the assembly. And the 30, the 30 were like the Nazis, man. It's ancient Athens I'm talking about. And Cleon, the dictator. And there's Aristophanes making fun of, at least, he didn't make fun of the 30, but Cleon, his features, at least a couple of his plays. I should read Aristophanes. He's on this symposium, it's then a fundraiser, I think. But this is a revolutionary time right now in France, folks. This is the real meal deal. I'm not just showing you for historical footage or commentary. I just want to tell you in North America and around the world, what your media is telling you is not the truth. This is the truth. The police backing up in France against the might of a whole united people. Huh? We are the people, and we say no, is the message of the yellow vests. They wear the yellow vest because it's an emergency for France. Okay? The rich are getting so fucking rich that people should be living well in a country so rich, like ours here in Canada. The name of Central Canada. No, this is Colombia. I intend to make it an American state if it's done right. Otherwise, let it be free. It's time to sever the ties with the crown, is what I say, because it's always been imperialist, violent, globalist bullshit. And the Britain and Holland and France, the imperialist global empires, and Russia also helped found the world trade system. Well, Russia and the land, and with China also, and different things, and furs and gold, and Central Asia was their empire rather than overseas so much. You know, but Britain, Portugal, France, there's overseas empires. And Germany got in the game late. You know, this is what built the outside world. And in the case of the U.S., they've been invading countries since, they invaded. When did it start? Barbary Wars. No, and after they attacked us. Well, did they attack us? How did the War of 1812 start here? I can't remember. What was the first attack? Like, where did it start? It was right after they started, really. And then all the way across the west, across the wild frontier, right? What they call it, the wild frontier. No, these were ancient civilizations of people. And you met complex cultures and languages just wiped out en masse. Now up here, they did horrible things to them. And, oh, that's the whole problem with the Bantustans of Canada that aren't on the map and don't exist. And if you want to get anything, you have to submit all your title. We'll give you a little tiny bit, like in the Chilcotin. I don't like the Chilcotin Treaty. It's not a treaty. No, they only got a little bit of their traditional territory. I got to still can take this to the log and still want this for my ranch, you know. You guys have too many rights. I got so much money. And, we still they want to put a pipeline through the Chilcotin. Who wants to do that? I was shocked. Am I right that it was CN? Canadian National Pipeline? What's that to do with pipeline? Pipeline? It's the famous railway corridor that caused the Chilcotin was 64 rather, the Great Plague. It killed all the Swan and survivors. We've been confronted, we're going to build a road through your territory. Like hell, you'll build a road without asking the Chilcotin. Ooh, there's not many of them. Hell, they fought off everybody and killed a famous Indian killer called Donald McLean, who worked for the pay company nearby. Yeah, Donald McLean, like Doug Hubbard, was one of the big bullies of the fur trade, but they had to be in this tough country that was always at war. War? Yeah, defending yourself. Ancient British Columbia is ancient Northwest America is not what you think it was. Again, history has been erased by those who didn't exactly win, they suppressed, and they're all still here, and they own the North, you see. And yeah, the revolution has to hear, and I've always said it will happen if I live in a valley with a Swiss settlement in the Fraser Canyon, and it's all the same family from Luzern, which is really great. It's a very free canton in the heart of Switzerland. It was one of the first to be free of the empire. Luzern probably, I should look that up tonight, the history of Luzern. It's where they come from. So I told a couple of the Klapik here, to the people from here, this is getting it together in my mouth, to quote, I always said it, Tequoyam, something like that, Tequoyam. I thought, Tequoyam. I got to find out how. I'll go up there and find out how it's pronounced. Little museum, visitor center, cultural center, nice at the mouth of the Anderson River. It's a very historic spot. And this was the area known as Quayom in English, without the T. Just kind of a Salish noun marker kind of thing. It's S in other languages, Scotland and Squabbin, or Squabbin. Yeah. So this is really interesting in France, and you're not being told, right? You're not being told at all. You're not being told. It's very disturbing to me how much people are blinded by their goods. And you talk too much. If you're talking shorter sentences, because a lot of people have been robotized. Media has destroyed a lot of brains and attention spans. And that's drugs. And meth is the only one. No, by far, God. And myself too. I just laugh at myself for the things I forget all. But that time is what I forget the things for. So I'm always doing 7 things at once, including inside here. I'm always thinking about 40 things at once. I want to look at this. I look at this. I look at this amazing events in France. And what are you watching here? Oh, look at the yellow vests in their convoy. Who do you think is paying the gas for that convoy or making a lot of money off it? And Trudeau, what do they want? What do these yellow vests want? The French want a whole bunch of fucking shit. The free French, where are the free Canadians? I'm not talking about the guys who wear the yellow vests. Are they having an emergency fucking eating? Are they seeing, or do they care about the people on the streets, on the freeways? The homeless should line the convoy on the way there. I'm going to get word to these. To get everybody out on the street while the convoy comes up. Are you going to help us, or are you just here to get shit for yourselves, you rich fuckers, with your big fancy trucks and all that gas money? Why didn't you bring any of the port from the west? Why wasn't this an Ottawa thing like in the 30s, where they were taken off the train by Gatling gun in each province and put onto work camps, which were the basis of the Japanese internment? When the BC Japanese, they never got their land back. Those in California did. That's why Fresno and San Fran have large Japanese communities of people who were there before the war. Here, no, they don't talk about their internment either. It's a shame thing. They don't blame them. Shame? Why? Because we so-called Canadians should be ashamed, especially of what continues to be done to the First Nations. What was done to the Japanese, the refusal, not just the racial things, but what was done to the Duca boys was what a great crime of human history to those very peaceful people who are related to the Cathars of southern France. The name Cathar means cleansed. They've been cleansed of their sins by being just being pure, and like Buddhists, actually, the original Christianity was Buddhism. Of course, France is the center of the Roman Catholic Church and a very important country within the Roman Catholic Church. And the church is going to fall. All the banks will fall. All the borders should fall. And how that happens is people realize that we should all be happy. We should all be happy that it's possible to overthrow the bad system. You got to remember that these guys in the chateaus are saying, now settle down, change has to be gradual, it has to be gradual, we got to keep the financial system stable. I'll tell you what. The world has other plans for your financial system. Oh, does it ever? You notice all the destruction going on because of nature? The financial system can't handle what's coming. You know what costs? Well, we'll handle off on the taxpayers. Who's the taxpayer? You know as ancient worlds are rich. And what are they doing? Building ships up in the orbit or bunkers underground because they know what's fucking coming. Some of them. I hope the rest of them fucking. I don't know. Macron's a stupid little guy. He's a pretty boy from a rich father who got powerful father and Pierre Trudeau. Let's not go there right now. You know, they're from a rich family of the Chateau Clé because the flag of Quebec is that of Bourbon, New France. Woo! People don't realize the symbolism of that, plus the Union Jack and the crown. And the maple leaf is the flag of Ontario and Quebec together. It's actually Ontario's flag. Isn't that interesting? The red, the symbol of the maple leaf, eh? People don't realize this shit. I realized it a long time ago, and I just see more and more and more and more of it. And it's just boring me now when I see the freedoms immediately south of the line. I can't even go to Whatcom County right now, hug my little cousin. He's only 61. Not that little, but she's tiny, but she's just younger than me. See, those are the kids that live all alone. I want to help her. I can't go down and help her because it's the line that lets millionaires cross, but not me. You see, it's not a free world. And the media here is not free. They show you garbage when there's real shit like France going on. I don't mind living with nothing. You got to remember that even with this place I have, just a quick scan of the room. This is the room of a king 500 years ago would have this. Maybe a duke or a bishop would have had this much stuff. Plastic water bottle, rare treasure, wicker lamp. You know, well, what is that machine in the corner? What the fuck is that? They go, what the fuck is that? People don't realize how much all this pleasure life we use, the place for pleasure. And, I don't want to give up my waterboarding and my yoga. Oh, sorry, let me just land a certain friend. We just happen to see those things, doing those things lately. But it's the leisure and pleasure sports. And, I just want to meditate and get into what I'm doing. Well, I'll say, well, you can do that high on the mountains. Right now, I want you to move you out of Del there. He's a white rock, actually, the guy I was talking to. Just get out of there, for fuck's sake. I'm a geologist and hydrologist and glaciologist and all the rest of it. I read it all. What do they do when they watch the hockey game and the movie serials? And going on, I got to raise kids, too. But don't raise the kids on TV like we got raised. You know, so the kids get all raised on environment. You have 16-year-olds. See these people in the French, okay, if this is going to make the tip. But no 16-year-old kids doing this. There are all over Europe. There's 16-year-olds in the street. School's in session right now, right? Yeah, school's in session. Yeah, but on the weekends, it's not. They're keeping the kids out of the crowd because of the tear gas and the rubber bullets. They don't want the kids damaged, but there's more wounded now than during the Algerian War of 1957. I don't know the death toll now. It was at least 10, let's say 12. It was 10 last I heard. I heard 12. It must be 20. It's been bad, but on the other hand, the CRS are backing away. And the stupidity of Macron. And so what? The Italian 5-star is supporting this, of course, it's to the advantage. But where's the Italian? Why don't the Italian 5-star government? I challenge them right now. Savia, you guys are saying you support this, okay? Then have plebiscites all through the system of citizens' initiative referendums to change the government, change policy, change it back, withdraw legislation, all that stuff. Buy legislation, break up the banks, break up the media that I'm talking as a politician in Italy. I support the 5-star, but the 5-star, like the French, are not really a nativist movement. They just want a sane government. They want a sane government not run by the rich. Now, Sarkozy and Hollande is very much, and Sarkozy especially represents the French rich. Now, was he against an anti-Semitic march? No, I think he was in the masses of the Free French who are wearing the yellow emergency vest because in France, unlike with the Canadian Yellow Vest convoy, it's an emergency. In France, it would be unthinkable to be driving that many trucks that far in the dead of winter. It would be insane to do that in the spirit of the revolution in France. So it's insane that the yellow vest has been stolen by the oil movement. Let's call it that. The tar movement that wants war or martial law on the free Northwest which I call the High West, the High Northwest, north of the usual Pacific Northwest, the High Northwest, the two provinces that will become, I don't know how many states and sovereign nations, but a pathway for the Americans to Alaska. That's where I'm coming from. I think it's great because it's a huge project. Get them all diverted from conquering the world. Bring them all home like the French want to bring them home, and get America to be a nation of peace, and for the survivors of the future to have learned a lesson like from Star Trek that it doesn't matter about money. It's about finding the people who need to be doing, taking care of the ones that can't, working the fields, learning to do it. Remember all the Star Trek worlds they're calling? They all building fields, they build civilizations. They have the wrong ideas about how civilizations happen, but that's all right. It's Roddenberry's vision. And Maisel is an interesting woman. I'd like to talk to her. I hope she sees this. I'm Maisel. We know a lot of people in common, I would say to some of the people that I talk to with you in these videos, because I'm going to post this. And this is brilliant today. So, folks, it's the real meal deal. That's my little computer. That's my old one that... No, that's my nice new one. I figure it's a gateway, and there's a problem with getting gateway inboard cameras to work good. It's really weird. I'll figure it out. But it's nice to have. It's got a great thing. And my little cabin is a mobile home, actually. It's not bad, you know. But this was an imperial palace 1,000 years ago. The shit in here, never mind this thing, but just the chair, the plastic chair I'm sitting in. The porcelain all from China, or where was that coming from 1,000 years ago? Was it even made then? Yeah, of course it was. Anything like that made it all the way from China, you know, usually by Sahara until the age of the Gobi, you know. Yeah, and people here in the West, they think the history started 20 years ago because what the media has done to their minds. They can't read long history, so they're kept from knowing the past so that it can be used on them again. Well, the French have seen all the shit before many times. This is a whole